Joining us now on the program is Aisha Morrell-Ferguson from COTS, an organization that is helping to address homelessness here in our local area. Aisha, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, Tyler.
Yeah, glad to have you on the show today to talk about your organization doing a lot of great work and has been for decades here in Southeast Michigan. For those that aren't familiar with COTS, tell us about your organization and the services and programs you provide.
It's my pleasure. So, COTS has been part of the Detroit community for 40 years now. Back in 1982, we were established as an organization to support men in particular that were experiencing homelessness. Over the years, we know that homelessness has impacted more than just single men alone. It's impacted women and families. And so our services are now tailored specifically to help families that are overcoming homelessness by providing emergency shelter, supportive housing, affordable housing. But beyond providing those supports, we provide mobility services that will help them to maintain that housing and maintain stability moving forward.
And that's so important to address not only the root issue, which is homelessness, but
Absolutely.
also what leads to that and what can lead people back into those sorts of situations afterward. Because especially in the world we're living in right now, in the economic age we're living in right now, it's tough for anyone to get by and make ends meet on a daily basis. But for those that are facing the potential of not being able to maintain their housing or other necessities on a daily basis, it's so important to provide those services. So, what are some of those different interventions and those different services that are being provided to individuals that may be facing some of these issues and struggling during these times?
Yeah. So one of the most important things is childcare and child development support. So, for a lot of families that are experiencing homelessness or challenged with issues related to poverty, the cost of childcare, the availability of childcare is often a barrier for them. And so, one thing that we've been providing consistently is on site childcare at our emergency shelter that's open to all families that are connected to our programs, whether they live in housing now or whether they are actually at the shelter. But then we've also expanded to provide expanded childcare services for children ages 2.5 to 5, over and above the Bright Beginnings Center, which serves children from 6 weeks to 2.5. And then we've expanded, especially since COVID, to provide a learning lab. And this space provides tutoring, academic support to help those students that are learning through virtual means, to provide after school support to help those students that are trying to get caught up, because we realized that COVID had a huge impact on learning. In addition, we provide mobility coaching services and help families, both the children and the parents, to set goals, attainable goals, and then we support them as they try to reach those goals and as they set new goals from there toward their stability and their long term success. So, between mentorship, coaching, child support services, workforce development, those are all additional services over and above that COTS provides to help families to establish that stability and to thrive.
If people or families are in these sorts of situations where they may be soon to be facing homelessness, have faced homelessness, and maybe beyond the initial part of that issue, how do they get in contact with your organization and get access to
Yeah.
some of these resources?
So they can reach out to us at 313-576 0201. That's the way that they can connect with us, and they can ask questions as it relates to how to get connected with our support services. Our coaching is not just for families that are in shelter, they're for any families that are experiencing these hardships that want to try to have help to overcome them and possibly even prevent homelessness if possible. But our shelter services, they can contact us for that, and we can always point them in the right direction so that we can get them the help that they need.
So generally, Asha, how are people coming to COTS for these services? Is it generally from referrals? Are you reaching out to people that are in these situations, or are they coming straight to you through these different resources, such as the web and, of course, over the phone?
Yeah, so CAM, there's a platform in the city of Detroit called CAM that all shelters are connected to. And it's kind of the overarching framework that helps to provide the intake services. And so, depending upon your need, they would work to point you in the right direction. And so, we receive quite a few referrals from there for families that are experiencing homelessness. And they refer to other agencies as well, whether it's an unaccompanied youth experiencing homeless, and they'll refer to a different agency, or a single woman or a single man or whatever that might look like. They make those referrals based upon what each shelter can support. And so most of our shelter referrals come through that particular means. But we receive calls all the time. Oftentimes people have reached out to us online, on social media, to ask for support or get some direction. And we're responsive to all of those means.
We're joined by Aisha Morrell-Ferguson on today's edition of the Megacast, joining us from COTS, where she serves as their Chief Development Officer. You can get more information and get in contact with them about their resources by visiting cotsdetroit.org. That is COTS Detroit, COTS Detroit.org, or go to sharedetroit.org and explore not only COTS and their services and opportunities, but also those of over 320 other charities and nonprofits across southeastern Michigan. And Asha, coming up, we have a really great event in just a little bit over a week that's going to help to support a lot of these different programs. Tell us about Soup City 2023,
Yeah.
now live and back in person.
Yeah, so we're excited to be back in person. It's been 2 years, and we've had the last two events that we've done virtually. And so Soup City has been going strong now for about 24 years. So we're greatly excited to be back in person. We're going to be at the Mary Grove Conservancy on January 19th. We're looking for folks to come to learn more about COTS, to hear more about the testimonies from some of the families that we've supported over the past year, and to figure out how they can partner to support families in the community as they seek to establish stability. And so they can find information online at cotsdetroit.org/Soup City. If you visit us on our homepage, you'll see a link right there to Soup City on that homepage that'll take you to all the information. But we're excited. There's going to be a variety of restaurants. So the event usually has about 25 to 30 restaurants that partner with us, and they share small tastes of soup or small plate items, desserts. And so you stroll through and enjoy those. There's a charity casino happening that night, and then we have a charity concert being presented by Alexander Zonjic and Thornetta Davis. And so we're so excited to have them join us as well and have their support. They're longstanding partners of ours, and we're grateful for their partnership and their support.
More information can be found on cotsdetroit.org, COTS Detroit.org, or go to sharedetroit.org as well to learn more information and get all that you need to know about Soup City 2023, live and in person, January 19th at 5 p.m. at the Mary Grove Conservancy on McNichols in Detroit. Doors open at 5 p.m. And again, learn more information by visiting COTS website at cotsdetroit.org. And you mentioned there's going to be food and there's going to be entertainment. What are some of the restaurants and entertainers that will be there? So if people want to go out and just have a good time, but also support a good cause, they kind of know
Yeah.
what's going to be available to them.
Absolutely. So we have 220 Merrill is going to be in the house. Soil to Service will be there. Smith and Co. Joe Louis Southern Kitchen is coming. Pharmacy Foods, Better Detroit Brownie Company. There's so many more restaurants, and we're excited about all the good food that they're going to bring our way. And then, as mentioned, Alexander Zonjic and Friends, the Motor City Horns are going to be in the house performing. Thornetta Davis is coming to bring us her soulful bluesy voice, which we love so much. And so the event is also at no cost. So we are, hoping that folks that want to come and have a good time, for a good cause, that they will be led to make a gift that their heart leads them to make and support these initiatives. But we want to just see everybody in the house. We want to share the work that we do and celebrate being able to be in person again.
More information can be found on cotsdetroit.org or by visiting the Share Detroit platform at sharedetroit.org as well. We're joined by Aisha Morrell-Ferguson on today's edition of the Megacast, Chief Development Officer at COTS. Again, cotsdetroit.org for more information. And all these different services, Asha, in your organization and many other nonprofits too, they're really supported on the community level by, of course, donations and by the goodness in the hearts of others, but also by volunteering their time, giving their time also to support these efforts. What sort of volunteer opportunities are available through COTS?
So we have a variety of volunteer opportunities, whether it comes to families coming to read to our kids during story time, or even host game nights at the shelter for families that are there, just to give them some form of creative entertainment and creative outlet. We've had some volunteers come in and bring crafts to our families and let the kids engage in crafts. On any given night, our shelter could have up to 100 kids. And so being able to provide activities like that through volunteerism, it really does make a difference for our families. We also have volunteer opportunities available through the special events. So if someone wants to volunteer to help us pull this event off and make it a great experience for all of our attendees, we'd love to have their help there. And our volunteer experiences can also be found online. And so they can visit us online for more information and figure out how to get involved.
ShareDetroit.org. You'll find a lot of that information just by going to their Find a Nonprofit section on their homepage and searching COTS, COTS. You'll find a lot of information about how to get in contact with them, the services they provide, some items that may be of necessity to them, and of course, to other charities and nonprofits in that sector and others across southeastern Michigan, as well as info on job and volunteer opportunities too, not just with COTS, but with organizations of all different kinds that are providing charity and nonprofit services here in southeastern Michigan. You can also learn more directly about COTS by visiting their website at cotsdetroit.org. Asha, a couple more minutes with you today before we'll need to get going and moving on. Anything else that we haven't discussed yet that would be important for our audience to consider about the issues that you're addressing at COTS or the services that are provided by your organization?
Yeah, one thing that we love to reiterate is that the work that we do at COTS, it's not by our hand alone. It requires partnership. It requires collaboration, and so we just serve to be a vessel. And we want to work and collaborate with donors, with volunteers, with partners in our community to help serve the families that have needs. And so we're grateful for that. And Share Detroit is a wonderful partner that helps to make that happen and helps to connect us to others. So the work that they do to help COTS and other nonprofits, it doesn't go unnoticed and appreciated. We are so grateful. So that's what I want to share today.
Well, Asha, we appreciate you joining us and telling us more about COTS and of course, previewing this great upcoming event happening January 19th, 5 o'clock is when the doors open at the Mary Grove Conservancy in Detroit. You can learn more on cotsdetroit.org. Asha, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you, Tyler.